What is going on, guys? I'm Director Nat, back for another reaction, and today we are starting a new reaction series with the first episode of Infinity Train. And I want to take a moment to thank everyone who commented their suggestions on my Arcane season finale reaction. If you suggested something other than Infinity Train, don't despair. I've got all those suggestions in a big Word doc along with how many people suggested the same title, so I'm definitely keeping those in mind for future reactions. But ultimately, it was Infinity Train that technically got the most suggestions. Well, I take that back. It was actually Arcane Bridging the Rift, but really it seemed like some people were just suggesting that I check it out rather than react to it, and I watched a little bit of it just to get an idea, and it doesn't really seem like something reaction worthy, to be honest. And Infinity Train is just kind of interesting to me because of all the controversy surrounding it recently because it got taken off of HBO Max. So I found myself on the creator's Twitter page where he kindly asked people to buy the show in order to support it, so I went on Amazon to check it out, and turns out that each of the 4 seasons was on sale for $8, which is very rare for shows on Amazon. I guess they know how pissed off people probably are and are giving them incentive to get the show another way. Well, it worked because, long story short, I bought the entire series on Amazon, which kind of sealed the deal that it would be my next reaction series because, you know, getting a return on your investment. But truth be told, I've wanted to watch Infinity Train for years now. One, because many of you have suggested, of course, but also because I was there at the very beginning. I think it was 2016, 2017, one of my friends on Facebook shared the original pilot episode on Facebook. That was when there was still a campaign going on to try to get it made into a full series. So I remember watching it and thinking, oh hey, this is pretty good. I hope it does get made into a full series. And then it did get made into a full series, and I just never watched it. Until now, that is. Today's episode is called The Grid Car. I know that this isn't going to be the original pilot episode that I watched back in the day, which I don't remember a lot of that, to be honest, but according to Wikipedia, that episode was kind of either re-edited or remade into episode 3, so we'll see how much of it comes back to me when I eventually get there, but for now, we'll just focus on episode 1. And I apologize, I know this intro is pretty long already, but before we get into the reaction, I have a favor to ask of you guys. So I need your all's help in reaching a personal goal of mine. I would like to reach my next 1,000 subscribers, so about 7,000 in total within the span of 2 months. Because according to my channel analytics, it took me about 4 months to get my last 1,000 subscribers, so I would like to reach the next 1,000 in about half that time. And according to this chart, about 75% of you guys watching my videos are not subscribed, so if by some chance 875 of you could subscribe to my channel every week, then I would definitely get to about 7,000 subscribers in the next 2 months. Now, can that be done? Who knows, but you know, my long-term goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers on at least one of my YouTube channels, so you gotta start somewhere. So yeah, just to reiterate, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Help me reach my goal of getting to my next 7,000 subscribers. But enough of all that. It's time to get down to business. So without any further ado, Infinity Train, episode 1. Let's get rolling. Already, I love the ambience from this music and the lighting.
What are you gonna do when I'm at game design camp? Die of boredom, probably? Yes. Sorry, Michaela, but Oshkosh calls. I'm the coding hero Wisconsin needs.
I don't think they want their coding hero to stink up the whole state with her onion breath.
Hey, it's not my fault I have a sophisticated palate.
You have a gross palate. I thought your game was cool when I played it, and you know how I feel about video games.
You hate them.
I hate them.
But I like yours. So...
When your dad picks you up for visits, does he come in and talk to your mom?
Yeah, sometimes.
I guess it's weird to see your parents talking to each other now.
What do you mean, weird?
'Cause, you know, they're not married anymore, and everything is different.
It's fine. Lots of people's parents are divorced.
Okay. I can already tell that if they go more into this is going to hit me personally because my parents got separated when we were kids too. And I know all about the, you know, stuff and the drama that comes with that. So I already relate to this character from that alone.
Tulip,
Tula?
We need to talk to you.
Or Tulip?
Okay, game, you're supposed to be working, but watch. I'll press play, and you're just gonna die. See, that's not right.
Another thing, you know, the frustration of talking to your computer screen when it's not cooperating. In my case, it's video editing, but I suppose it applies to video game software especially.
Look at you! You're moving around now! Don't ever change. Thanks, coding is cool, guy.
Why, thank you, Tulip, for with your purchase of my book, I can finally afford to have this ferret removed from my face.
Tulip, I'm so sorry, but your dad can't take you to camp.
What? What do you mean?
I know, bud, but your dad mixed up the dates and planned a work trip out of town.
Okay, well then why don't you take me?
I have a 12-hour shift at the hospital tonight.
What, so you're both too busy to be my parents?
Hey,
You guys are the ones whose divorce keeps messing everything up, not me. This isn't fair. No, it isn't fair.
I know, we're not very good at it yet.
Good at what? Good at being divorced?
Tulip, I just mean scheduling.
What schedule? It's two of you and one kid.
Love that underlying music. This is giving me Owl House vibes all over again. You remember, I said I was truly astonished how I related to Luz Noceda right off the bat, and it's like I'm getting that feeling all over again, but taken up a notch. Alright. And just like Owl House and Amphibia, I assume that this is going to end up with her being trapped in another world, or at least the Infinity Train. Just for anyone who missed it, like I said, like way back in the day before Infinity Train was even picked up as a series, I remember that my friend Alex shared the short pilot on Facebook, and he was like, hey, if we watch this and share it and get it trending, it might get picked up for a full series. And I watched it and like, oh, this is actually really good. I hope it does get picked up for a series. And then it did get picked up for a series, and I never ended up watching it until now, but better late than never, right?
300 miles is not a quick hop. Oh, well, that's lucky.
Yep. Portal zapping you to another world.
Oh, did I just hallucinate a train station? Well, that's boring. Tulip, we missed you at game design camp.
Tulip.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't quite make it because I decided to fall asleep in a field and dream about outdated modes of transportation.
I know I have heard this actress somewhere before, as per usual.
Are you my mum?
Well, what? What? Am I what?
Are you my mum?
No!
So you've come to bring me the sweet release of death.
Are you a toy? You have really good speech recognition.
She might be large.
Or small, like a nurturing bagel. Are you looking for your bagel mother too?
No. Definitely not.
You're going alone?
You're going alone.
Oh my gosh, what am I?
That door is impossible to open.
The only way out is through hypothermia.
What the hell?
This is the train? Wait, what's in the next train car?
It'll probably be disappointing.
Wow! Oh.
Are you building a coffin?
What the? What is with this weird suicidal robot?
That's my name. I'm One.
One.
And that's kind of a weird name to have. Unlike my name, which is Tulip and is perfectly normal. Ha-ha! Well, what's this?
What, do you get points for each room you solve? happens if you fail?
I don't want to be on this train anymore.
How's this show already so fucked up?
What are you singing?
It's a wacky getting chased song.
I made it up.
You can do that? 1-1, how's that wall?
Well, it's more of a house instead of a wall.
Do you want me to start over? I'll just start over.
You want me to start over? I'll just start over.
Everything has rules. Even crazy things have their own logic. 1-1, is there a conductor? Please tell me you know the answer.
Conductor? I think we have one of those.
But he would most likely be at the engine.
I'm getting off this train.
So, like, 115. Again, like, do you have to earn a certain amount of points to eventually get out? Or is, like, that gonna count down until you eventually get to the very end? Huh. Okay guys, so that was my reaction to the first episode of Infinity Train. I've now had a chance to go back and rewatch the episode and take some notes on it, so this will be my more in-depth review, so feel free to stick around to hear more of my thoughts on this episode. So the first thing I have to praise about this show is the ambience, because it is perfect. The colors and the music are constantly shifting between this strange kind of calm and this underlying tension that just keeps building and building throughout the episode, and I love that. And I may just have to add something new to my wall of main characters over here, because I loved Tulip right from the beginning of this episode. I love her personality, her blunt sense of humor, and to be honest, I found her shockingly relatable right from the get-go. One example of this was her parents' divorce and how they're all trying to figure this out, because my parents got divorced when I was a kid, so I know firsthand just how hard that can be on a family as the parents are trying to figure it out and the kids can feel like they're just stuck in the middle of it all. So yeah, those few minutes of the episode really hit home for me personally because I've been there. As I said, even though Tulip is much more blunt than I am, I also really related to how hard it is for her to mask her frustration whenever somebody touches a nerve. But on a more positive note, I related to how much she can get lost in a project. For me, obviously, it's video editing. I could just get lost in working on a project for hours, and for her, it's developing video games, although it seems like she's very much a beginner at this point, but you know, being a beginner is, you know, still more than most people in that regard. This episode really gave me that feeling that I got in those early episodes of the Owl House when it came to Luz Noceda, because as the show went on, I was surprised over and over again how much I related to her in many ways, and so it was nice to get that feeling again. It's nice when you can connect to a character and really come to like them right from the get-go, because that means the show has already got you hooked and you're curious to see what further adventures they're going to go on. And like most popular animated shows, I knew that I recognized the actress from somewhere. Tulip is voiced by Ashley Johnson. She's been in a few cartoons that I recognize. She voiced Gretchen in Recess, Terra in Teen Titans, Gwen in Ben 10 Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, stuff like that. Other voices include Owen Dennis, the series creator, as Sad One, and his delivery is absolutely perfect, but I'll get into that more once we get a little later in the episode. And of course, my man D. Bradley Baker is in there because the dude is in literally everything at this point. Something I found I really appreciated about this episode as I was rewatching it is that details that at first seem small or feel like they were unintentional, you realize are actually perfectly intentional, and not only that, but they complement the style of the show and the specific action very, very well. One example is the film-like grain that is over the picture. It's not always obvious, but you know, it is there, and there are a few moments where you see little black glitches like an old-time film projection, and I think that's a really interesting detail. At first I thought it was just an animation error or something, but I like that they added that on there because, You know, this show is definitely going for some darker horror-like elements, so having that on there kind of adds to the tone that the show is going for, and I just appreciate little creative details like that. It shows that the people making this show were not afraid to shake things up a little bit, and that they really put a lot of thought and care into just about every second, which obviously when you're making an animated project, you have to put that amount of detail into everything, but it's nice when you can really tell just how much hard work that the crew is putting in. I'm going to be bringing up the visuals several times throughout this episode, but another detail I like is that all the backgrounds really do look like a painting, and that's just beautiful. That's something I always like to see in an animated series. And this part is really just a nitpick, and it's only for the purpose of pointing out a common trend that I tend to see, but of course her mom, her overworked mother, works at a hospital. I mean, is there any other role that a working mom can be in for a troubled kid in entertainment these days? I don't know. But no, in all seriousness, that's a good detail. She's working at the hospital and dedicating her life and her time to helping people who really need her, which of course is always admirable, so let's move on. But getting back to Tulip's mom, the scene where they're arguing in the kitchen, upon rewatch was another moment where I noticed some of those details that I didn't catch the first time. When things start really getting heated up, you can almost hear some static in the background, like the crackling of a microphone or some speakers, and that's just a really interesting detail to add into the sound design, because it's almost like their anger and tension is electrifying the room. So I mean, I don't know who does the sound design for this show, but whoever thought of these details and thought, oh yeah, weird details like that will totally work. I mean, props to you, my friend, because it definitely paid off. The music in this episode is beautiful, of course, but there's always just this nice ambience, this sound effect that goes along with it and manages to perfectly complement it in all the really intense scenes. So again, the sound department just excelled right off the bat. Tulip gets angry, of course, and goes back up to her room in frustration, and God, it seems that they just don't end with the details of how I relate to her. Like, she had a countdown on her wall of days until camp. Yeah, I used to do that like back in high school and maybe early college when the new Star Wars movies were coming out. I would like do handwritten countdowns until the movie would finally come out because I was that excited about it. So remembering that feeling allowed me to relate to her just how much she must be disappointed in that moment, which makes you understand the decision that she makes next. So she sneaks out to go on an adventure and ends up getting sucked into a crazy portal. So yeah, definitely giving me those Amphibia Owl House vibes. But again, I'm all for that. Those are some of my favorite shows that I have enjoyed doing on this channel. So if I can find any new creative content that manages to capture that feeling again, I'm all down for it. I touched a little bit on Sad One earlier, but I gotta talk about him again. Well, one, I should say. There's like Happy One and Sad One, I think, according to Wikipedia, but Sad One, I mean, the dude's delivery is just absolutely perfection. He is such a hilariously fucked up character, and I can't believe he was able to get away with some of those lines, considering that this originally aired on Cartoon Network before it got to HBO Max, but I'm not complaining. I mean, he just has the absolute best lines at the most unexpected moments.
The only way out is through hypothermia.
And once Tulip is on the train, I really liked how they were able to convey such scale once she realizes just how big it is. Like, she opens the door and looks down and you see just how massive it is. I mean, it's really impressive when an animated show in particular is able to convey that kind of sense of scale. So that screams to you just how big the stakes are, what a serious situation this is. On that note, I would have to say one of my criticisms for the episode, and this kind of goes for a lot of animated pilots, and I know it's because they have less time to work with, but it seems that she kind of got accustomed to this unbelievable circumstance a little too fast, getting all excited about the train, you know, comprehending what it is and coming up with a solution, which again, I know this is a 10-minute pilot that originally aired on television and not a streaming service, so you gotta get a lot of the setup out right of the way. I'm trying to be fair because I feel that all the stuff that I really liked about this episode outweighs that one down part, and I understand it's because they just didn't have a lot of time to work with. But one thing I do know for sure, especially once we get to that musical Tetris room, is that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy seeing each episode try to outdo itself in terms of its visual creativity. I mean, I know that there are at least, what, 40 episodes, and that apparently the series creator even wanted it to go for 8 seasons, so who knows what we're actually going to get in this show, and who knows what we would have gotten if it had actually been able to run for that 8 seasons. Another smart thing this episode does, which a lot of my other favorite shows have done, is setting up some mysteries to be solved right at the beginning, because that makes you want to keep coming back for more. Like that number, I think it was 113, 115 or something. I, off the bat, thought that there were 2 options. One is that it's like a video game, which would be appropriate, where you get a certain number of points when you manage to solve a challenge, or it could be that it's like a countdown to when you finally reach the front of the train.
Probably the second one.
And I don't mean to compare this so much to other shows that I already like, but I feel again that bringing up the Owl House is the best way I can explain my feelings, because what I loved about that show is that it was so charming, fun, enjoyable, and feel good at times, yet at the same time it could also get really dark when it needed to, and had so many fucked up elements right from the get-go. And that's what really hooked me, because I loved that unique blend of humor and weird elements, and this show takes that to another level. So again, that's just what I really love about the overall feeling, because I feel that's the kind of show that I can really see myself enjoying and reacting to and talking about over and over again. But speaking of mysteries, what the hell was that giant light body disintegrating thing? Like, is that what happens to people on the train if they fail to solve a certain challenge? They like just die and get sucked up into that weird cloud of energy. I don't know. There are a lot of questions. I mean, you know, what the hell this train even is, but I don't know if that's something we need to get an answer to, or we ever will get an answer to, but I'm highly intrigued to see where the story keeps going. But for the time being, the episode ends with a clear goal that we can get behind. Reach the conductor, get off the train. I am very excited to see what we're going to get along the way and what our characters are going to go through, but I guess we have to wait until next time to find out. So that's my review and reaction for Infinity Train Episode 1. And now I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of this reaction? What are your thoughts on Episode 1? And what are some other episodes that you're really excited for me to get to? Whatever it is, feel free to share your thoughts down in the comments and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss one of my Infinity Train reactions. A big thank you as well to all of my patrons, especially my fellow directors. You guys are incredible, and every little bit of support really does help keep the channel going. And don't forget to check out all the links I've got down in the description for my Patreon page, my video essay channel, all that good stuff. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for Infinity Train Episode 2.